12-year-old Jesus in the temple. Gentle Bible story. According to the Gospel of Luke, when Jesus was 12 years old, Joseph and Mary went up to Jerusalem for the Passover feast. After the feast was over, they began their journey back home, thinking that Jesus was among the group of travelers. But after a day of travel, they realized that he was not with them. Joseph and Mary returned to Jerusalem and searched for him. After 3 days, they found him in the temple, sitting among the teachers, listening to them and asking them questions. This story shows the deep worry of parents searching for their child, and the quiet mystery of young Jesus, already knowing that he belonged to his father's house. Now the story begins on the road from Nazareth to Jerusalem. Every year, Joseph and Mary went up to Jerusalem for the Passover. Passover was a very important feast for the people of Israel. It reminded them of how God had delivered his people from Egypt and led them out of slavery. So this road was not only a road of travel, it was a road of memory, worship, and faith. When Jesus was 12 years old, he went with Joseph and Mary to Jerusalem. The journey from Nazareth to Jerusalem was not a short walk. Many people would have traveled together for the feast. Relatives, neighbors, and other families may have walked in the same group. The road may have been filled with voices, prayers, old stories, and songs of worship. For Joseph and Mary, this was a familiar journey. But for Jesus, who was growing in wisdom and grace, Jerusalem and the temple carried a deep meaning. The temple was the center of worship for the people of Israel. It was the place where people remembered God, heard the scriptures, prayed, and brought their hearts before him. 12-year-old Jesus would have seen the city, the crowds, the temple courts, and the teachers of the law. He was still young, but his heart was not shallow. The feast ended, and Joseph and Mary began their journey back home. They thought Jesus was among the travelers. This may seem strange to us, but many people traveled together in large groups. Children could move among relatives and familiar people, so Joseph and Mary may have thought that Jesus was with family or friends in the group. But after a day of travel, they began to look for him. They searched among their relatives. They asked people they knew. They looked through the group again and again, but Jesus was not there. The hearts of Joseph and Mary must have become heavy with worry. A parent's fear can rise very quickly when a child cannot be found. Where is he? When did we last see him? Is he safe? Is he alone? Did something happen to him? These questions may have filled their hearts as they turned back toward Jerusalem. The road back must have felt very different from the road they had taken before. When they first went up to Jerusalem, they were walking toward worship and the feast. But now they were walking back with worry, urgency, and fear in their hearts. They searched for Jesus in Jerusalem. The Gospel tells us that after 3 days, they found him. 3 days can sound short when we only read the words. But for parents searching for their child, those days must have felt long and painful. Every hour would have carried concern. Every place they searched may have brought hope and disappointment. Then, at last, they found Jesus in the temple. He was sitting among the teachers. He was listening to them. He was asking them questions. And everyone who heard him was amazed at his understanding and his answers. This was not the picture of a lost child crying in fear. Jesus was calm. He was in the temple. He was listening, asking, and speaking with wisdom. He had not yet begun his public ministry. He had not yet called his disciples. He had not yet taught the crowds or healed the sick. But even as a boy, something deep was already shining through him. The wisdom of Jesus was not ordinary. His understanding pointed quietly to who he truly was. When Joseph and Mary saw him, they were astonished. Mary spoke to him with the heart of a worried mother. "Child, why have you treated us like this? Look, your father and I have been searching for you in great distress." Her words were not only words of correction. They were words filled with worry, love, and relief. Mary and Joseph had searched for Jesus with anxious hearts. They had not understood why he had remained in Jerusalem. Then Jesus answered them, "Why were you looking for me? Did you not know that I must be in my Father's house?" These words are short, but they are very deep. Jesus was not ignoring the worry of Mary and Joseph. He was not speaking without love, but his answer revealed something greater. Jesus knew where he belonged. He knew that he was not only the son cared for by Joseph and Mary. He was the son who belonged to God the Father. The temple was his Father's house. And even as a child, Jesus was already living with that deep awareness. Mary and Joseph did not fully understand what he said to them. This is a very human part of the story. They had already seen many wonderful things in Jesus' life. Mary had heard the angel's message before his birth. Joseph had received guidance from God in dreams. They had heard the words of the shepherds, Simeon and Anna. They knew that Jesus was not an ordinary child. And yet, they still did not fully understand everything about his path. Faith does not always understand everything at once. Sometimes God's words stay in the heart before they become clear. Sometimes a moment is too deep to understand immediately. The Gospel tells us that Mary kept all these things in her heart. She did not throw the words away because she did not fully understand them. She held them, she remembered them, she carried them quietly within her. This is one of the gentle lessons of Mary's faith. When God's way is not clear, faith can still hold the words of God with patience. Faith can wait. Faith can keep a holy question in the heart until God gives more light. After this, Jesus went down with Joseph and Mary to Nazareth. The Gospel says that he was obedient to them. This is also very important. Jesus had spoken of his Father's house. He had shown a deep awareness of his identity. And yet he returned to Nazareth and lived in obedience within his family. The Son of God did not reject the quiet years of growth. He did not hurry ahead of the Father's time. He went back to ordinary life. He lived under the care of Mary and Joseph. He continued to grow. The Gospel says that Jesus increased in wisdom and stature, and in favor with God and people. This means his life continued in a quiet and balanced way. He grew in wisdom. He grew in body. He grew before God. He grew among people. The temple scene was a deep and holy moment, but it was not yet the beginning of his public ministry. After that moment, Jesus returned to the hidden years of Nazareth. This gives us a quiet comfort. Even the Son of God passed through seasons of waiting and growth. Even Jesus lived through years that were not publicly seen. He knew ordinary days. He knew family life. He knew quiet obedience. He knew the slow road of growing in God's time. This story also speaks to every heart that searches for Jesus. Sometimes we search with worry. Sometimes we search with confusion. Sometimes we do not understand where he is or what he is doing. But Jesus is never lost. He is always held within the Father's will. He may not always be found where we expected him to be, but he always leads us deeper into the truth of who he is. Mary and Joseph found him in the temple, and his words invited them to see him more deeply. He was their child, but he was also the Son of the Father. He belonged to a purpose greater than they could fully understand at that moment. This story leaves a gentle question in our hearts. Where are we looking for Jesus? Are we trying to understand him only through our own fear and expectations? Or are we willing to see him as the Son who belongs to the Father's will? There are times when we do not understand God's way. There are times when worry fills our hearts. There are times when we have to hold questions quietly, like Mary did. But this story reminds us that God is still present in the questions. Jesus is still worthy of trust, even when we do not understand everything right away. I hope this story becomes a gentle comfort for every heart carrying worry and questions. And I hope it helps us look more deeply at Jesus, even in the moments we do not fully understand. If this story remained as a quiet comfort in your heart, please subscribe and like to join me. The next story is John the Baptist's cry in the wilderness. We will gently follow his call to make the way of the heart straight, and to prepare the way for Jesus.